What's up, YouTube? I'm here to do my prediction video for the Ultimate Fighter finale. Sorry it took so long, but the card really didn't get finalized until like this morning. Now there's 10 fights. At first, like yesterday it said 8, but I knew there was going to be people from the Ultimate Fighter that are going to make it to the finale, and there are. So, this is my predictions. The first fight is Chris Gritzmacher versus Abner Lovars. And Abner looks like, he's pretty well rounded. I don't think he's great anywhere, but he's pretty good everywhere. I think Grits just is more tough and durable. I think that his wrestling will start to tire Abner out, and he'll probably get a late finish in the third. Next is Jacoby Sanchez versus Gene Herrera, and I think that Jacoby Sanchez is a little bit better of a striker. Gene Herrera is a little bit better of a grappler. I'm going to pick Gene Herrera. I think he'll be able to hit takedowns and just keep it on the ground. But like I said, I think this fight is really close, but I'm going to pick Gene Herrera by split decision. Next is Ryan LaFleur versus Mike Pierce. And if this fight had happened like a year or two ago, I think it would have been more entertaining. But Mike Pierce, I don't know where he's at. I know he got hurt from that heel hook when he lost to Paul Harris. But he hasn't fought in like 2 or 3 years. So I'm just saying I think Ryan LaFleur has just been more active, fighting more guys recently. So I'm going to pick LaFleur to win by 30-27 decision. Next is Gabriel Gonzaga versus Christian Orkin. And Krostantin is, he's a Canton crusher. He's got all these wins in Russia. He's 10-0 outside the UFC, I think. But they're all first-round finishes, and we saw in the UFC, the first round he looked great, but then he gassed super hard. He's just this big ball of muscle, and I think that Gonzaga's got the grappling where he'll be able to take this guy down. As long as he doesn't get clipped in like the first minute, he should be able to win this fight. He should be able to hit a takedown. This guy couldn't get up in his last fight. I don't think his wrestling is going to improve that much. I think that's what's going to happen. As long as he doesn't get knocked down in the first minute, Gabriel Gonzaga will hit a takedown and eventually win by submission, either late first or early second. Next is Julian Erosa versus Markin Warkinson. And I'm going to pick Markin. I think that Rosa just, he'll try to do that movement stuff, and Markin just has that more straightforward, not as much energy style, and eventually Markin will land a shot and probably knock Rosa out. So I'm going to pick Markin. Probably late first, early second. Next is Tatsuya Kawajiri versus Jason Knight. And Jason Knight's a really good grappler, but I don't think he's, Tatsuya Kawajiri, even though he has some submission losses on his record, his only real, the only time he's ever been straight up out grappled was against Aoki. The other submission losses were when he was hurt. So I think, I don't think Jason Knight will be able to catch Kawajiri. I think Kawajiri will be able to get on top a lot, and Kawajiri, when he's on top, lands really good ground and pound. I don't think he'll get a finish, but I definitely think Kawajiri will win the decision. And I think that the beginning of the fight will be super entertaining, but towards the end we'll see Kawajiri start to take over. Next is Joe Lauzon versus Evan Dunham, and to me this goes either one of two ways. I think Joe Lauzon will either get a highlight finish, or Evan Dunham will just grind out a decision win like how he did against Ross Pearson. But I'm going to pick Lauzon. I say eventually he's going to catch him in a submission. I think they're going to be on the ground a lot, and the more it's on the ground, the much better chance Lauzon has of catching him in something. So I'm going to pick Lauzon by probably mid-second submission. Next is Edson Barboza versus Tony Ferguson. And Edson Barboza is kind of in this weird position where he beats a lot of good guys, but he can't consistently put wins together, so he's always kind of in the top 8. I think Tony Ferguson, we've seen in his last 4 or 5 fights, it feels like every single fight he's gotten better, and every single time he's fought a better person. And I think that's going to continue. I think he's going to look better in this fight, and I think he's fighting a better person too. So I think Tony Ferguson will eventually either hurt Barboza or catch him in a takedown, and Barboza won't be able to get up, and he'll probably win by rear naked choke. Next is Artem Lobov versus Ryan Hall, and I'm not one of those conspiracy people. I'm not into that, but Artem Lobov sucks. I mean, his record's 10-10. It's not like he was losing to great people. I don't know how he got this far. I think, it's hard for me to believe that some of those fights weren't rigged to tailor to him. Because, especially the Chris Gritzmacher fight, where Chris wasn't really attacking with his wrestling as much as I thought he would have in the show. And I'm just saying, unless you're Mark Hunt, if you have a record of 10-10, you know what I mean, you're obviously not that good. You got a 500 record. I think Ryan Hall is a bad matchup for him. I think this is pure striker versus pure grappler. And I think Ryan Hall is the type of guy that will hunt for heel hooks and get this fight to the ground, and he'll probably win by submission. Which kind of sucks because I think Saul was probably the best guy this whole season. I think it was pretty clear early on that Saul was probably going to win this season, and the only reason he's not in this finale is because he has visa issues. Which sucks because he was clearly the best guy. Like, you saw in every single fight. Nobody was even close to doing anything to him. But like I said, this is a bad matchup for Artem. I think Ryan Hall is going to get a heel hook probably in the first half of the first round. And then last, we got Frankie Edgar versus Chad Mendes. And this fight is really tough just because Chad Mendes has 100% takedown defense, and Frankie Edgar has been leaning more on his wrestling in his last couple of fights. So I think that this fight favors Chad. I think that Chad will be able to hit takedowns and keep up with Frankie's striking. The only thing that I wonder is, like, in the 4th and 5th, do I think Frankie can finish Chad? Because I think Chad will slow down and Frankie won't. No, I think it's going to be a lot like Frankie Edgar's fight against Jose Aldo. I think the first couple rounds Chad will pick up, and then the third will be the deciding round. And I think Chad will just edge it. So I'm going to pick Chad Mendes by split decision. And this is my pick for fight of the night. I think this will probably be one of the best fights of the year. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Sorry this came so late, but like I said, the card didn't get finalized until today. So, thank you.